intakes right there. You just build that motor.
So guys, today is February 4th, and I figured I'd give y'all a little update video of my rig here. As a few of y'all have probably already seen on Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram, I've pretty much got my rig completed. It ain't done yet, but it's been to the trails twice. Both times just horrible conditions, just wet and cold. And we went to Mayhem, and if you've been there wet, you know what I'm talking about. Imagine ALP, but on steroids at Mayhem. There's just no traction, just steep inclines, dirt and roots and rocks. But I'll show y'all what I've got done. My buddy Jeremy, he cut me out a plate for my winch here, which I've got installed, and I made this little Fairlead bracket and mounted all that up. And then I made these little plugs right here with a through hole to mount a clevis. And then ended up getting rid of my fenders, trimming my hood about 3 inches just to allow, for more up travel, and that way my tires didn't get in there and get cutted. And then I built these little tube. It's like a skeleton, I guess you can say, just for structural strength. And then built another crossover bar to tie everything in together. And I know I talked about adding cup holders, which I finally did. And I was going to add this switch panel right here somewhere. And I don't think I'm going to, because I do like my music, and I plan on, putting my music whichever route I go right there. But this first one right here is my fuel pump, and then ignition power, and then my headlights, and then my rad fan, and then my trans fan. This fifth one over here, I'm probably going to put some type of interior light, in which I did end up buying a little screen here. It's an Edge Insight from my buddy Alex Watkins. Shout out to him for the great deal. It's pretty cool. It's got all kinds of stuff you can do on there. I also redid my Atlas shifters. It was hard for me to reach my rear side whenever I was strapped in, so I actually brought them back a little bit, and now I can reach them pretty comfortably while I'm strapped in. I also added this little switch panel right here. It's kind of like a cheap Dollar General S-Pod type deal from Amazon. I think Pilot makes it, but it's pretty neat. Like 3, I have my rock lights on 3, which I've got one there, 2 in the middle right here, and then 1 back here and 1 in the back. And then number 3 is actually my reverse light. I didn't really have a whole lot of problems the first time I took it out. That was a few things. One thing being, she was running a little hot, and I added a pusher fan. I'll show you. I added this little fan right here. It's like a 12-inch, and I have a 16-inch on the inside. And I think some of the reasoning is because of where my trans fan is. It is, allowing the air to get forced this way, and then my rad fan is blowing air this way, and I think they're just fighting against each other. Another problem I was having was I was bottoming out more than I liked. With my old setup, I was at 108 and 19 belly, and it worked out great. And then now I am 115 at 19 belly. Well, I just raised it up to 21, but I beat the tar out of my skid and my underbelly, and I just built my skid. My tubing work was at a 120 HREW, 1 3/4, and it took some really good hits. So I cut all that back out and redid 90% of it with 2.5-inch quarter wall DOM, and then all the gaps I plated it and tried to make it all smooth. I'll get in there and show y'all right now. So this is what I was talking about right here. You can see a pretty good crease in it right there, but all this all the way across now from here, and then this bar all the way across is all DOM, and then all this right here is still HREW, but it's all plated, so hopefully that right there will, disperse some of the impact and not just smash a tube. And I did add some upriser supports on the front, and I've also got the exhaust done. My buddy Chandler Adams in Manchester hooked me up and did a killer job. It sounds real good. Everything's nice and tight, which it's the muffler is a Flomax FX. I also made a little rear case support, which I'm gonna come in here and just make this more pleasing to the eyes. But I welded it to my trans support, and then this is just like some 1-inch tubing, and I found a nut that I knocked in with a hammer and then welded it. That way I can just unbolt this and unbolt this right here, these two bolts, and this whole thing will come off if I ever have to, pull the transfer or the transmission again. Which I already had to pull the transmission out of it because I had a factory converter in it, and I have a BTR Chuck Norris cam, and some people say they didn't need a cam or a converter. Some people said they did. Well, I didn't have an aftermarket converter. I had a factory converter in it, and I just wanted to try it, and it did okay. Well, no, I'm lying. It didn't do okay at all. When I put it in gear, it'd sit there and chirp the tires. It wouldn't pull vacuum enough for the brakes to work unless I threw it in neutral. And who wants to do that? There's still a few things I want to do. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I made a temporary one, but it was just temporary literally for the first ride or two because it was raining. But I'm going to get a roof built, and then I still want to add some tube work to tie my B-pillar in, just another brace right here just for, peace of mind. More triangulation, the stronger. And then I still want to put some type of audio system in there. I don't know if I'm going to do wake towers or not. I actually have some of my old ones that I've had back in my Razor days. They're MCM 8-inch towers, and one of my speakers was blowed. And I actually just took it apart the other day. I think I'm going to go buy some DS18s to replace them with. In my rear hatch area, I'm thinking about coming in here and then getting some those oblong trailer lights and put them in here diagonally for my brake lights, because I don't have no brake lights or running lights, which this thing isn't street legal. But I would love to have, brake lights, and it would be cool to have, running lights and turn signals and all that. Just, if I wanted to go pick my girls up from school, which it is only a 2-seater, but, we are in Tennessee, so what happens here? The biggest issue I'm having, to me and to some of y'all, probably wouldn't be an issue, but I have belt squeal. And I've tried every trick I know to get rid of it, from deodorant to dishwashing soap to, that belt dressing stuff to, even putting grease on it. It'll go away for a little bit, comes back. Everything looks aligned. I didn't have the correct pulley on there. And then I got with PSC, and they sent me the right pulley, which was more inset. And it helped, my belt line up better, because I was still rocking the 4.5 pulley I had on my 4-banger, which was more offset instead of inset. So my belt was riding on the end of my crank. But now everything's lined up great. I'm going to try putting another new belt on there to see if that right there helps it. That's one reason why I need her to get my audio system bought and installed and, all that stuff. But I guess I'll go ahead and crank this old 4.8 up and let y'all hear it. I did have a low oil pressure issue, and I ended up dropping my pan and putting the correct pickup O-ring in it. And it did bring it up about 10 PSI at idle. So now it idles around like 25 to 28. I don't know if y'all can hear me or that belt squeal, but man, it's annoying. But that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video. You know, I had to throw one little rev limiter in there. Call me Dwight, but maybe I can catch y'all on the trails here pretty soon. We're actually supposed to be riding this weekend for Feb Jam. I was gonna have a pretty big ride at Mayhem, but it was just too wet and too sloppy, so we're gonna have to just reschedule that. Which if you're seeing this and you got a rig and you think you can handle it, come try it out. Y'all have a good one.